Oh, hey.
Hiya.
Episode 16.
Whoop, whoop. You know what? Last night, Mr. Big was like, oh my God, I can't believe you've done 16 episodes. And I was like, yeah. And I was thinking to myself, are you surprised that we've done this, that we've done this many? But yeah, it's an achievement.
You know what? That's basically like, it's sort of 4 months, isn't it? So that's quite a good commitment.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah.
I mean, we're not going anywhere, so.
I know, but still, it's nice to know that we decided to talk about something that we're passionate about and actually make something of it. Whether we have somewhere to go or not.
Give it a good welly, you know.
A good welly. I haven't had that in a very long time.
I'm like classic for coming out with really odd sayings.
Yes,
that possibly aren't even sayings anymore. Like, I'm definitely meant to be 80 years old. She says while she's knitting.
Oh, whoop, whoop. Knitting. I just actually finished a little session of cross stitch.
Oh, how did it go?
Well, when we stop recording, I will just resume and go back to it. But it's going all right. I'm doing the background, blocking out one solid colour.
That's hard.
It's a dark blue colour. And I'm realising places that I've missed or done it wrong.
The design can be whatever you want it to be.
That is true. I started off being like, I'm just going to do this so perfect. It's going to be exactly like, you know, how they've instructed me to do it. And then it got to a point where I was like, fuck it, no one's going to know.
No one is going to know.
Yeah. But anyway, how have you been?
I've been good. My main thing that I've been doing for the last week is knitting. We're expecting sort of baby number 2 in the family. We call it 009 because that's the number of members in like the immediate family now. So 009 is expected in November. And so I'm busy knitting. And I made a bit of like a knitting boo-boo where I didn't get very thick yarn, which means you have to knit so much more to make something substantial. You just have to have smaller needles, which makes it take longer for something to materialise. But we're getting there.
Yeah. Stay focused. The road is long, but you will get there.
And also it's a really enjoyable thing to do in the evenings and stuff like that. But yeah, any downtime, I'm like, get your knit on, girl. Get your knit on.
Yeah. I watch a lot of YouTube while I cross stitch. Yeah. But yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Ooh. My passport came.
How's the photo?
Yeah, it's a good picture. Yeah. I'm not like the best looking person in the world, but for my face, I couldn't have done any better. Do you know what I mean? Like, I gave it my best shot.
I couldn't have done any better.
Honestly. Okay, so on the new passport, there's more pictures of your face. So I'm actually really glad that I took the time.
I'm happy for you. I'm really happy for you.
I'm giving you the heads up.
Yeah, I need to check my expiry date. Yeah. And I need to really make sure I have a photograph session.
Yeah, do, because no word of a lie, there's about 5 of my faces. They're dotted everywhere. Okay. So it's like, you know, the bit where it actually has your face, the details and stuff like that. It's got the normal picture, then it's got like 2 on the back.
Right.
One's in like black and white, one's in colour. The smaller the picture is, the better I look, I have to admit. But there's like 2 on the main page and like 2 at the back of that and something like that. Anyway.
It's great. You look chic.
Yeah. Also, it's a great time to renew the passport because it came, like, the whole process was like a week and a half.
Because nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. How have you been other than having a fantastic model-esque passport?
Yeah. I've been all right. Yeah, indoors, looking after my plants. Not bad. Can't complain too much.
Fun fact, we have not been able to keep a plant alive in this flat.
It's tricky. It really...
I think we don't get good sun. So our main room gets sun at the end of the day. So not for that long.
But basically, you know, a lot of houseplants don't like direct light, because ever since I started actually buying into plants, I know this sounds really bougie. I have a Brita jug, That's not the bougie part. But I only water my plants with Brita filtered water.
Well, that is bougie.
That is the bougie bit. But you learn that some of them are really sensitive to like the chlorine and all the other stuff in our tap water. And then they can't be in direct sunlight. And then it's the soil you have. I saw a TikTok the other day, and it was about a house. You know those orchids?
Yeah.
That you get.
Can't keep an orchid alive.
You cannot keep them alive. Exactly.
You have it for like a few weeks, the flowers fall off, and then you're just left with a branch.
Okay, so here's the clincher. So she takes it out of the pot. I think she's a gardener herself.
Oh, she takes out the pot. Yeah, because soil that plants come in is dry as a bone.
So she took it out of the pot, and it was in a plastic one that was like a drainage one or whatever. And the roots coming out of it, the roots were terrible. The roots were like dying off, or they were crushed or something. So she trimmed them. And then further up in the soil, in between the roots, was another little cup. And so she had to cut that one out of it as well. And she was saying, this is why they die, because they're like stifled.
She's got to get the door.
Okay, go ahead. While Scarlett gets the door, probably an Amazon package.
We interrupt this broadcast to remind you, go follow us on Instagram, StyleOverSubstancePod. Shoot us an email, styleoversubstancepeak@gmail.com. Find us on YouTube. Find us on Twitter. We've got all the links on our Instagram. You know what to do. So what is your fashion story this week, Mim?
Mine is, a bit of sad news. The founder of Kenzo Takada, passed away recently. He was 81, so older man.
Yeah.
I think he caught coronavirus, so that probably added to maybe pre-existing conditions or something. But yeah, a kind of big name in the fashion world has passed on. He no longer owns Kenzo. He sold that a while ago. But his line K3, he still has.
Yeah.
Or had. But yeah, and I actually saw the recent Kenzo show. I mean, we're going to get into shows this season. The Kenzo show wasn't very good, but nothing to do with him. Not his fault.
Not his fault. And R.I.P. Yeah, so I think it's always sad when sort of like old school fashion peeps die, just because I don't know. It was a more iconic sort of fashion era they maybe lived through. I don't know.
Yeah. End of an era, I suppose. But
yeah.
What's your fashion story, Scarlett?
My fashion story is probably lowering that tone a little bit. My fashion story is that Kim K's line Skims has arrived in the UK in Selfridges, no less.
Yeah. I'm surprised that after all the businesses her and her family have come out, maybe it says something, to be honest, but after all the companies she has started and created, that none of them have been in a prestigious department store, let alone any department store in the UK that I know of.
So literally this week, I think Kylie Skin is now available in the UK or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know if they've just started like a world domination tour. But yeah, I am surprised. Especially because like they're huge here. Like,
yeah,
I know they're big in the US, but like they're huge here too.
Yeah.
So it would make sense.
But then that goes to say, I don't actually know if it does mean anything. Maybe their actual products aren't that rate worthy. Maybe some of these department stores don't feel like their customer base is really that interested in it. Or sometimes it just comes down to pricing, costing, how much the family wants to kind of sell it at wholesale for these department stores. And you know, the Kardashians, they just like, they keep a lot of things in-house, don't they?
Oh, for sure. And also, I guess they're still a controversial name. Like, they're less so now. Like, I feel like maybe sort of 5 years ago, it was a way more controversial surname than it is now. I think we've just all accepted that they're here. Even like naysayers just like are a bit less like on their high horse about the family. So I wonder if it is quite a controversial thing to kind of store their products or house their products. But I think Skims is a really cool idea.
Something she should have done from the beginning.
From the beginning. It's kind of quite in line as well with like Yeezy a bit, like, I don't know,
beige everything,
like just all like tonal versions of everything, like tonal sets is basically what she's kind of done. She's created sort of like, you know, shapewear but also loungewear, like that you shouldn't be embarrassed to wear outside, all this kind of a stuff that I think what's it called, Spanx is available in 3 colours, and Skims has got I don't know how many shades she's got, but she's got a lot more than 3. So yeah, I think it's really, and also it's a really important time, you know, we're identifying that everyone needs to be represented.
I mean, she didn't create the idea of multi shades or toned underwear. Like, I know a British brand called Nubian Skin has been, and they were on like Dragon's Den, like they've been around for a while doing like, they have like so many colors of underwear. I think her thing is like, she's trying to take on the shape wear, because she was known for like back in the day wearing like 2 pairs of Spanx at a time. It could, I've seen some YouTube videos about her stuff. I don't know if it's the best, but I definitely think there's like space for her.
I don't think it's super expensive though. Like, Spanx is expensive. I don't know what they like the comparison is, but like I think hers is quite affordable, so I guess it's an affordable sort of range, so therefore it's probably not going to be the best of the best. And I wouldn't, in the least rude way, Kimmy, I just wouldn't expect it to be the best.
No, I know what you mean. They're not known for like
she's
quality.
churning out collections like no man's business. Like, there's always a new range.
I mean, that's like with Kylie, isn't it?
I know that. I feel like she's dropping fewer collections sort of now with her makeup stuff, but you know how like Instagram also has algorithms, so maybe I just don't see that stuff as much anymore as I used to. But yeah, I feel like there's forever a new collection, and like I don't feel like, you know, you need multiple collections of loungewear, but I could be wrong.
Who knows? We're not multimillionaires. We know jack shit.
I don't even own a pair of tracksuit bottoms because it's a pact I have with myself. Not own them because I just think it's too dangerous.
It's a slippery slope.
I already I live in like workout leggings.
Yeah.
But I think it's workout leggings or it's pajamas. And don't get me wrong, I leave the house in pajamas. I'm not above that. But I just know if I get tracksuit bottoms, game over.
I know, but you know, like
so close this lockdown to getting some. I just think no.
Tracksuit bottoms are a symbol now of kind of nonchalant wealth. So you wouldn't be labelled as a slob. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not worried about the slob factor. I think I'm worried about the I'll never wear trousers again factor.
I get what you mean. Yeah.
Like, I will never not wear the house wearing those. Like, that will just be my absolute uniform for the rest of time. So,
well, I think it's time for us to get into this week's topic, which is, I mean, of course, spring summer 2021.
I can't believe it's 2021.
I need it to be 2021 right now.
Yes, of course, that. But like, I remember like my first year working in fashion, it was SS like
14, 15.
14. It was SS 14, the collection like that I remember. And that was like the whole season. So yeah, and so I definitely think I also did the autumn winter before that as well. So I feel like it's making me feel old. But yeah, so we're talking fashion, we're talking a roundup of what we felt about this season. So you kick it off, Mim.
So question for you, top line overall impression of the season, of all the shows that you've kind of been delving into. What's your impressions? What are the trends and themes that you've seen?
I wouldn't really say that there were like, in my opinion, main trends, if that makes sense. I feel like lots of brands just kind of like sung to their like hero products, or like their client base wants from them. I will say I wasn't really blown away. Like, and I feel like that's a really probably not a great intro to us discussing it, but like, I'm not going to say I like stuff just for entertainment purposes. Nothing blew me away. There were some really cool pieces. There were some really cool sort of like ideas of how people carried out their shows in terms of it being virtual or COVID friendly. But yeah, nothing really like amazed me. And I wasn't expecting for someone to have designed like our new alien costumes or whatever. But I was sort of, I don't know, hoping there'd be a more playfulness, but you also probably just have to be safe right now and design what people are going to wear. So
yeah, I think maybe the energy was sucked out of this season simply because we didn't have the online hype of like all our favorite influencers traveling to Paris, New York, London, Milan, you know, documenting their time in the city, because that's it's like what Fashion Week is.
It's the dinners
most of it's
before,
about that.
Isn't it?
Exactly.
It's all that stuff where you're like, oh my god, this is like, oh, that's amazing. How cool would that be? They've been like loaned an outfit, and all of like, that's what brings this hype of, what, like, how special.
Yeah, going to like dinners and the pre and post shows, and
but even like the pre, I didn't see as much of like, you know how lots of brands are sponsored by their water, like a water company, they're sponsored by their hair people, by makeup. I didn't see any of sort of that backstage getting ready hype. Of like, this is the makeup look, or like, we've been sponsored by like Babyliss hair,
I get what you mean.
Dyson.
That's really interesting, actually.
I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, so I think that in itself diminished the glitz, the glamour, the hype, the excitement of the whole season. And just like, obviously, because no one was physically really going to the shows, I think brands were doing like a cost-friendly version. Will we ever really go back to the way shows were? I don't know. I don't want to be like pessimistic and be like, this is the new normal for everything. But maybe at the
but
right
shows
now,
are hella expensive. Like,
they're incredibly.
We've mentioned it before, but if you're new here, hey. But fashion shows are at least £1 million to put on. So maybe it's not a bad thing to pare that down, because
they're not earning what they probably projected to earn you know, and
Who
so
is?
they're trying to cut back on costs and be like, maybe for the next few seasons we'll do this digital, virtual, or very limited number of guest type shows, just ride this wave, save our money. But yeah, fashion shows are a vanity project. Yeah, so that was, I agree with you in the sense that it wasn't as exciting, but I think that maybe this is for the best. Less people unnecessarily traveling, less unnecessary gifting and postage of things. I mean, having said that, I did see
a lot of gifting.
I've seen some pretty big packages turn up at people's houses. Like, I think it was Loewe and JW Anderson had like sent out these massive boxes to people of like, here's like an A0 booklet of every show, or every like piece that's in the show.
Jeez.
To compensate basically for the lack of show.
So what's been your favorite COVIDified show? Or let's talk through some of like your favorites or least favorites.
Okay, so I'll do my favorite COVID adapted show. I do appreciate a lookbook. You know, it doesn't have to be an in-person show at all. I think with a lookbook, it can be. I think I saw Salvatore Ferragamo. It was really weird though. For the life of me, I did not understand the story, but it was very like all these models in the clothing and the bags and the shoes, and they were like walking through these Italian streets and like old Roman type buildings. But there was like a lot of suspenseful music. It was like there was trying to be a dramatic film, but I didn't understand the plot. But again, like, you don't need guests to present a new collection. And I mean, Prada Miu Miu, although I wasn't like crazy about the clothes. Actually, no, theirs was weird. I didn't like it. It was like the attendees were watching the show, the models walk around this white room on like this massive Zoom call. Yeah, it was a bit. But yeah, what's your favorite one?
I know we mentioned it last week, but I still really think the Moschino Moschino Barbie doll thing was just really cool. It was very Jeremy Scott. It really fit with the style. Like, not many brands could have pulled that off.
Yeah.
And then I saw like some influencers that I follow. Louis Vuitton rented like the electric cinema, or one of the, whatever it's called, one of those sort of like bougie cinemas, and had a screening of their show for like UK influencers. And I think like dressed some of the people in Louis Vuitton outfits to watch it. The popcorn boxes were Louis Vuitton, like all of that stuff. Like, they did a really nice sort of tech of it all. I think that was quite a cool idea. But that was definitely more for influencers. And influencers often that I've never seen at a Louis Vuitton show. But yeah, I guess that's instead of a dinner or something like that. But I just thought that was quite a cool idea. And was still a way of having like lots of people, but in a safe, like socially distanced sort of way. They did it. But yeah. And I've seen a few that did, what's it called? Is it called virtual reality, VR? With those like masks where they filmed their show in 360.
Oh,
and you kind of cool. Watch it and can move around. I don't know if I'd actually enjoy that for a fashion show. I don't know if I'd find that a little bit weird. It's a really like cool idea. It's a really cool, whether I'd actually enjoy that and feel like I'm really taking in the looks in the same way as if it was on a bigger screen, or if I was there in real life. I don't think I would. But I didn't think as many brands did. I mean, obviously they couldn't have packed shows, but lots of people just either did a socially distant show or a show without people and just broadcast it.
Yeah. You know what, actually?
And sent their like guest list a link.
I watched, oh my gosh, for life of me, it was a New York designer, and I remember thinking, oh my god, I've never actually watched one of her shows. I need to try and remember who it was. Her show was the stuff she designed was actually beautiful. And I was like, why have I never like kept her on my radar before? But it was like by the Hudson River.
Oh, wow.
And just walking down like the promenade, like the embankment. And she had a singer. She was on her guitar, on her piano. I think there was a pianist and she was on her guitar. And they were just like walking down the promenade. And then they did a little thing together at the end, all the models. I don't believe there were guests there, but yeah, that was kind of more of a lookbook sort of format. I really liked that one. But yeah, so I think maybe we should go down a few of individual shows. I'm going to start with Chanel because okay, you love Chanel and I do love Chanel. Not, in terms of a presentation, I wasn't that impressed by it.
I thought the pictures make it look better of individual looks, but when you see it as a whole, like the Chanel Hollywood sign, I thought was a cool idea of being quite pared down, but from afar it looks just really plain and boring. But in the photos it looks really cool.
That's the thing, like I actually watched the show and saw, oh, that's a cute piece, oh, that's a nice jacket, oh, okay, that's quite different, oh, I like it. I really liked the leather goods and the bags.
The bags you said, are really cool, really mini, lots of belt bags, like really cool bags.
I thought the Hollywood sign was probably a good jumping off point for a theme, but the theme was never developed.
That wasn't the theme. And there was I'm sure they'll argue differently. There was quite clearly not a cohesive theme. Yeah,
and like I don't want to compare her to Carl because Carl was in a lane of his own, and I've really enjoyed her last collection. Like when we talked about her couture, I really liked it, and I do think her stuff is she's got skills. Yeah, her stuff is definitely wearable, but if Carl knew how to do one thing, it was put on a show, and it was put on a cohesive theme that matched the outfit, the bags, the shoes, the backdrop, everything the theme, was in the music, a vision.
Like the vision. There were definitely some pieces, like there was this pink outfit that I'm telling you now I've not really seen Chanel do. It was almost like I guess sort of like maybe a cardigan or sort of a Chanel sort of less sort of formal suit, but it was made of like this pink faded denim. And I've never sort of seen them use denim in that way. And that was a really great look. And the bag was pink and every part of that look was really cool. And there were a few sort of like 80s power suits in black that made me think like, that's the kind of woman I would have been.
Has your screen gone pink?
It has gone pink because it knows how much I love that outfit. It's like Chanel. It's a bit creepy if I'm
honest. That was the weirdest thing. Oh, it's back.
So now my face is pink. Wow. Chanel is just like emitting some rays to send me their products.
Chanel, if you're listening, sponsor us.
Yes, please. So yeah, there were definitely some standout outfits. I really liked there was sort of some Chanel just using the initials of or the lettering of Chanel, sort of pinstripe trousers and stuff like that. Really funky, but the rest of it was not something for me to cover.
Yeah, also when I think about the show, the lack of vision was also represented in the models walking. It was like they were walking up to the crowd, but then back again and then across the stage.
Oh man.
Yeah. It was a bit all over the place.
Oh dear.
But you know who also did denim? Balmain. Did you see it?
I did not see Balmain.
Okay, no worries, because they had a lot of denim actually.
That's actually, there you go. That's a theme, because once we've discussed Balmain, I'll mention somebody else who used a lot of denim. So there you go.
Oh, okay, cool. So maybe it is just brands are going back to what they know will sell. People who have the money for this stuff are, I mean, like, if you've got Chanel money and Balmain money, you're gonna buy a pair of jeans from them. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, and none of us are really going anywhere that warrants very occasional wear.
And also, it's so much cooler now. When I say cooler, I don't sound cool.
You mean temperature? Oh, okay.
No. Like, dressing up is not what it used to be. Like, people could go to the fanciest restaurant in like jeans and a t-shirt, but it could be all Chanel. Like, do you know what I mean? And just throw some heels on.
There has been a progressive. There has been a progressive like casualization of fashion.
And don't get me wrong, I love getting dressed up every now and then and all of that stuff. So like, but obviously it's still nice to kind of have that. So I think that maybe that's almost a sign of the shows, is sort of knowing that people aren't wearing a ball gown everywhere.
Well, I think now that they know, I mean, Chanel knows that they can sell trainers, for Christ's sake, and put their label on it and people will buy it. So they're like, why try so hard? People are still going to aspire to it. But so the Balmain show, Olivier, just envision this, what I'm about to describe to you.
I've seen the Balmain show, I have.
Yeah, the big stage with the smoke at the end. It was very like living on the moon, Martian, steamy, like a lot of silver and grey. And he just sat on the stage on like a bar stool for some reason, just admiring his handiwork.
My worst nightmare. As a designer, like everyone, like watching what everyone's about to judge me for.
I mean, he's had a good run. Like, I don't think he's okay. Remotely nervous about how his shows are going to be taken. But there was a lot of power jackets, massive, what's the word, shoulder pads,
like
some
massive,
really bold, massive
shoulder pads.
Yeah, men and women. There was bright colours. There was a lot of logo mania. It was as if I don't know if they created a new logo, but I've never seen that from Balmain. Yeah, nothing too complicated, really. But it was a good show. Like, I liked it, yeah.
I used to do quite like shows where it's not just what we walk by one. I kind of like when there's more of like...
Oh, you mean how it was like 10 people on the stage
like
at a time?
4 people like walking together or whatever. Like, I kind of like that. It makes me think of like old school, like... Tommy Hilfiger shows,
Thierry Mugler, like big stage,
and you just have these like girls, and they just walk down the runway like waving at their friends, and then like crowd. It makes me think of that, and also I think it's cool to like group it together because a collection should be cohesive, so it should go with others and not be identical. Or
I think was it Max Mara was the brand most recently to bring back that idea, because they started bringing like 3 looks at a time down the runway, and it used to be like monochrome, like all one color. And then I think that this is just from my memory, like Versace has been doing that a lot as well.
And I think Dolce & Gabbana, you know, when they started using like
the family,
normal people, or like
and they used to bring the kids on, and like the whole family would be on stage.
Couples either walk down at the same time or the family. So I kind of think that adds a bit more than just like these like gaunt girls just walking like mindlessly. So I thought that was cool. Denim also featured in Burberry's show. Now, I wouldn't say I loved Burberry's show, but I did like that they incorporated some denim into their trenches. So you didn't have like a full denim, but it was almost like a gilet insert of like patchwork kind of like into the trenches. It's much nicer than I'm making it sound.
They had because they were outside
in like the forest or whatever, and it was beautiful setting. Like really worked well, especially against some of like the bright oranges and the bright blues. I didn't like a lot of their stuff. They kind of had a thing with Chanel where like just some outfits were, oh, that's really cool, like the bright blues and the bright oranges, and like some looks were like, oh yeah, that's like really cool, and then some you're like, no clue what's going on here.
I don't know what to make of Riccardo Tisci's Burberry, if I'm honest. I think
he had big shoes to fill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
we all got used to the Christopher Bailey way.
Yes, that is true. And he was a completely different aesthetic to Riccardo Tisci, but I think what we were expecting from Riccardo, it was like, oh, it's going to be sportswear, which it is quite like streetwear. This one's really inspired.
Streetwear, yeah.
But then what he does is throw in a lot of traditional stuff, which to me makes the collection look all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's trying to hit on every like Burberry demographic there is. And then I'm just confused. Yeah, some stuff that's just like, let me throw a big Burberry, sans serif Burberry logo on a few pieces. Yeah, I'm just not sold.
No, I know. And speaking of shows that didn't hit the nail on the head for me, Louis Vuitton.
Oh, okay, we can discuss, yeah.
So I loved their trench coats. They were just these like almost like 80s, 90s, like relaxed, oversized, off drop shoulder, like trenches.
The trenches were very cool, I think.
These really great sort of like wide leg darted trousers.
Yeah, I love those.
They were incredible. And then there was some weird like skate chocolate bar-esque.
It was like it was like wrapping, chocolate wrappings. It was food,
like the wrappers of a celebration box were logos on a t-shirt. And I don't get it. I loved the Vote t-shirt. I thought that was really like political, but like just fun. And then there was just all the chocolate bar stuff.
Yeah, the logos were Nicolas Gasquier. He is kind of known for bringing in a sense of anime and like digital to his collections, which I think is a really cool idea. I mean, they used to run ads of like this completely digitized kind of model caricature to like advertise their bags in magazines. I remember seeing, but I think he's going down a path with these logos which is not that cool.
It'd be different if he kind of used anime inspiration to use Louis' existing logos or create a new logo for Louis, but like genuinely there are words like bounce or skate. Like it's kind of just like really random. In my opinion.
Yeah, I did think the bags were cool though. It was a real wide variety of sizes and shapes and colors and like materials for the bags. So that was, I think, its strong suit. I mean, who buys Louis Vuitton clothing? I'm being honest, like talking about normal people, even people with money. The only people I see who wear LV clothing are celebrities.
Yeah, and that's normally like a full monochrome look, or like not monochrome, monogram.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like your Billie Eilish wearing a monogram like suit or something.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like a custom made piece, so it's not even really. It doesn't really matter to them, if that makes sense. It's just a backdrop for the bags to be sold. Quickly, for me to go back to Burberry really quickly, because I kind of forgot some of the looks. They have really nice boots, those high leg boots. The coats, I think, in the collection, as you mentioned, are amazing. Just wanted to get that in. I didn't want it to be like, I completely hate everything Burberry does. I think this one had a bit more direction than like, the first collection he came out with. And that I was like, what the fuck? But this one I think is much better. I think there's stuff you could actually buy from it, but yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
So what would you say was your favorite show?
I enjoyed watching Versace.
Okay.
I think
You've got a pained look on your face.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to just order my thoughts right now. Okay, so Versace, it was a really tacky show, but there was a lot of fun. It wasn't practical, whereas like...
But Versace is kind of like tacky and impractical. That's
yeah,
kind of their vibe.
that is their thing. But what I'm saying is, like, they could have come out with nothing but silk pajamas down the runway and been like, guys, buy a Versace bathrobe, we're all staying in the house. But it was like, they didn't.
That would have been iconic.
They probably sell more bathrobes than anything else. Okay, so, like, for example, I really liked Hugo Boss. I don't normally watch their show, but I really liked it because it was really sleek. It was really polished, and the stuff looked expensive, and it looked like something you could wear for years and years to come, which I thought was
quite a lot of like tonal looks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Versace I liked for completely different reasons. It was like, I think it was called Versaceopolis, and it was this underwater Poseidon world of Medusa heads and ruins at the bottom of the ocean, and it was just playful in the sense that it was like rhinestone crystal bras and bright colored dresses,
the garishness that we ask Versace to do.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they do really good like party looks, like if you're going to a club and you want like a really cool black dress or something. This was just bright and just playful and summer holiday, which is what spring summer is about. And I think they kept to that, and the clothing was impractical, and it was nowhere near saying we expect to be living in trackies forever. It was very much about, we're going to be out in the sun and on the beach. And I liked the garishness. I quite like tacky in general, so I really liked the garishness of their show.
And also, I guess you're sort of like saying that it was kind of like giving us all hope, you know, like summer 2021 is gonna be much better than 2020. Summer 2021 is where it's at. We're leaving like COVID behind, even if we're still having to be a little bit indoors. Like, you don't have to dress that way.
Yeah, exactly. What were your favorites?
So I think my two favorites, I really liked the Erdem, how do you say it, show. And they kind of, I think they did this almost, I don't think they sort of like revealed that they were doing the show to too many people, so they kind of kept it quite secretive. It looked very Jane Austen vibes, really romantic, just kind of what you'd want from them. But yeah, just like it wasn't as casual. I guess that's what I liked, is that it wasn't a very casual show, and there were just lots of like frills and very girly, very feminine sort of, you know. It does take a lot of like Baroque and like what's the word, like Edwardian prints and massive platforms, which I love a platform. So I think that I really enjoyed, and then I also really liked the Giambi. I'm gonna butcher it.
Giambattista Valli.
Loved that show again. It wasn't like, there wasn't much casual wear or streetwear, and it was really soft, really delicate, really feminine, but in a very different way. I thought for him, like, it was very true to him, but normally you just have rows and rows of like just tulle, like you have so much sort of like netted designs from him. But it was just, I don't know, I loved the color palette. It was kind of like, I don't know, just they were both very feminine, which I don't dress very feminine, so
I think Erdem is a really good choice, having thought about it.
And I think they did theirs outside as well, but they just sort of did it all secretive. It felt very Secret Garden.
Yes, that's a good description, actually.
Like it just felt really, I don't know, just really cool and classy, and everything, the way they did it was really cool.
Good stuff. So another big hitter, Dior. Did you see the show?
I did. I can't for the life of me
remember what happened in it. Yeah, exactly.
I've seen some pictures of like the new trainers they're pushing. Like, you know, the Dior like Converse. They've got like fabric ones now, rather than like, you know, the ones that had like the clear sort of
Oh, those. I thought they were
I've
just
seen
men's.
what they're pushing there. No, they do it for women's as well, I think. I think they're unisex. So I've seen that they're pushing them on the Instagram. I think it was this morning. Their show. Let me just refresh.
Oh, they've kind of got a Vans, you know, the shape of classic Vans. They've kind of got that silhouette as well now.
I guess it's a bit like a Chanel. They've sort of just realised that's where the money's at.
£650 for a pair of trainers. £820.
Yeah. A lot of money.
Dior for me, I really
it doesn't look like Dior. Do you know what I mean?
The clothing.
Yeah.
I think it's very Maria Grazia though. All the silhouettes.
It looks very Missoni, like very Italian.
Oh. Is it because it's very bohemian?
Maybe.
And there's a lot of kind of like tapestry
and
type
knitwear
fabric. Yeah. I like that bohemian aesthetic in general. I think that she hasn't really branched out in terms of silhouettes of her clothing. They're all very like...
Well, there's no silhouette other than just loose and floaty.
But then she has always like this little thin belt around the waist to create like a waistline on a dress.
We've just had a shapeless item that we put a belt around.
Yeah, and I think I'm just assuming that, and also from what I've read before, that her ready-to-wear actually sells. So maybe it's that she doesn't want to deviate too much from like the winning formula.
I tell you what, I would buy a lot of the looks.
Yeah, I like
the money.
them. I like them, but I don't know if I would spend that kind of money on that sort of thing. Like Dior,
a lot of it's
and
very
also
sheer though, as well. Like,
my issue is that Dior and Carolina Herrera, I don't know if you saw that, but those are ripe for Zara picking.
Yeah.
Zara is going to pounce on those looks.
Oh, for sure.
And just recreate them so easily because they look like stuff Zara's already done in the past.
And
that's
also,
my thing. It's like, am I going to spend $5,000 on that sort of thing? A piece?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just also a little bit over them flogging these carpet bags.
Oh, they sell though.
I know they do. I know they do. But like, you don't need to apply it to every silhouette you have. Like,
everyone needs a tote bag. Especially,
like, don't get me wrong. I really like some of the ones that they've done, and like, if I had silly money, like, I would spend it on it for sure. But like, we get it. It doesn't have to like match. You don't have one to match every single look of the runway.
Yeah, I think when I look at Christian Dior again,
dude, it looks so Italian.
It makes me think of oh my god, what did you mention before? What was the brand again? Missoni. Oh no, it made me think of Fendi in that. You know how Fendi had this really Italian theme, very homely. It was about being at home. There was a lot of knit and doily inspired, you know, your grandma's house. And I felt like that collection came with more pieces that I'd never seen before, or pieces and silhouettes I'd seen before executed in a really new way. And there was such a coherent theme. Whereas this, I feel like every single piece I've seen before. I've probably seen it on the high street. Yeah. There's a few caftans that I could pretty much get now. Like if I went to like a beachwear brand, there's probably caftans and things that's very similar to this.
It looks a bit like a resort collection. Like half of it's sort of resort, isn't it? Very beachwear, very summer holidays. And then we move into the more like spring, summer, sort of Japanese inspired looking like kimono-esque pieces. I don't know.
Yeah. It's nice, don't get me wrong. I would wear a lot of this stuff. I can't see the value when I know how much this stuff is sold for. It just doesn't make sense. I was actually watching a YouTuber, and she does like luxury bags and luxury goods. That's what she talks about. And she was talking about how the Chanel classic flat bag, because they do price increases every year,
every year
or multiple times a year. It's just there's no point in buying it brand new anymore.
Yeah.
Like, to buy a £6,000 classic flat bag just does not make sense when you can, you know, buy them secondhand. And I feel like luxury has always been expensive, and there's a lot of stuff out there you're like, it's not worth the money. And that's kind of how I feel about Dior's collection. In the nicest way possible. It's not worth it, mate. Don't buy it.
Or that the high street's going to achieve like a good enough knockoff.
Yeah. Even if I were a millionaire, I would still be like,
Zara.
get it at Zara in like literally a week. They're probably sketching like crazy right now.
They don't even sketch, I'm sure. They just send photos to a factory.
Yeah, well, they have their own factory, so they probably just like scan the image into a machine, and then it reproduces. Anything else about this? Any other shows that we've missed?
I'm trying to think.
Max Mara was boring. It was a lot like Boss, actually, but Boss was better. And I felt like they were at the same location as well.
Yeah, like you said before, I wasn't big fans of Miu Miu or Prada. Wasn't big fans of that, if I'm honest. So how would you summarize the collection?
I think that brands are probably sticking to what they know, or they're sticking to simple, easy to wear, casual pieces, like Balmain with their, you know, the blazers always did really well for them, so they've like revamped the blazer, but it's definitely a piece that people are going to buy into. Jeans and kind of comfortable stretch flares, they're really easy to wear, so I think that was their kind of objective or strategy. Then other people have just stuck to designs that they're known for, playing it safe, but I don't think that's a negative. I think at a time where we have so many brands as it is, you're going to go to a particular brand to find a particular item. And if that's a brand's way of trying to streamline a collection or not waste money on things that potentially won't sell, then that's not a bad thing. Presentations overall were, so. And I think it was just because no one was going to these shows. So my overall timeline wasn't littered with invites to places and vlogs of Fashion Week and things like that. So the overall excitement of the shows weren't really there.
I definitely think that contributes to the hype. Like, had this been a season not in COVID times, we'd probably have very different reviews, because we'd probably have seen sneak peeks, or people that we follow on YouTube probably would have hyped up stuff. We're like, actually, that's really cool, or like, it looks like this because of this, or like they did a white set for this, or like whatever it is. I think that is all part of it now. Like, there will be some form of like marketing that we like succumb to from seeing people that we like their opinions, being invited, going to these things, the glamour.
They sell it to us, really.
Absolutely. Like, it works. So maybe that's part of it, that we've missed out on that. And so the excitement's a little bit more subdued.
Yeah, but I'm always happy to see another fashion season. It's a reminder that things are happening, and
there's still stuff ticking over.
Something's ticking over. Yeah, that's my overall opinion. Anything else you want to add?
I think you just summarised that perfectly.
Great. Well, that was our recap of clothes we will never wear for events we will never attend. Okay, well, thanks, guys, for listening to another episode of Style Over Substance. Follow us on Instagram. That's where we post images of all the shows that we've spoken about and all our fashion stories, of course. And if you want to spread the love and share this podcast to people and friends that you know who are interested in fashion, all our links are on our Instagram as well. What else? Yeah, give us a 5-star review. 5-star review. 5. And we will see you next week. I've been Mim.
And I've been Scarlett.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.